What up, yogis? Getting one of my favorite arm balances, Bakasana crow pose in. And just remember, it's all about bone over bone alignment to maximize that balance. And then just have fun with it. If you have a yoga block, grab that yoga block. Else maybe a pillow or maybe like any type of foam prop or bolster if you had that. But other than that, not a big deal. One simple thing is just starting from all fours, hands and knees, shoulders stacked over the wrists, hips over the knees, drop your belly, inhale, deep breath in, cow, exhale, cat. And we just want to look at our arms. Arms are nice and flat, palms are nice and flat. You can take a few more cat-cows as I'm going over this, but just check in with the fingertips. Fingers are evenly spaced on the ground, on the floor, wherever you're at. Maybe a slight outward twist, like you're opening up some mason jars just to get the palms nice and rooted into the earth. So you think about it, if you lean your shoulders forward over the fingertips, and then you lean your shoulders backwards, you can feel a little bit of difference in the pressure going towards the hands, but keep the weight evenly dispersed through your fingertips. Going from there, and then shoulders, triceps can spin inwards a little bit. Super convenient so that you can see that your elbow creases are making a straight line. So when you bend your elbows forward, like we're going into our chaturanga, our elbows are going straight backwards, not going out to the side, bowing out to the side or anything like that. So think about that. So as we hinge at the elbows, our forearm is staying perpendicular. So our forearm's going straight up 90 degrees from the crease of our wrist. And then our heart is leaning forward. And we can see how our forearms are straight, but we're hinging at the elbows. So think about in the back of the elbows, you can essentially rest your knees on the back of your triceps, going all the way up towards your armpits, or you can hug your knees on the outside of your triceps. So flip your wrist over, stretch the back of the wrist a little bit, going forward and backwards. Get some head and neck rolls, shoulder rolls, things of that nature. Keep filtering that Ujjayi breath, glorious ocean breath. So stand up on the knees, shake the arms out, shake the wrists out, and then just plant the hands down, shoulder width apart, and then zip the inner edges of your feet together so you get used to that, and then you get used to pointing your toes straight backwards and then just trying to curl them in towards the glutes. Get that motion so you've got almost like dolphin fin type of feet action. So the inner edges, the creases of the feet are connected, toes are pointed backwards, and then just trying to draw the heels in close to the glutes. And then from there, leaning forward with the heart, hinging at the elbows, just practicing that. And then we're going to hop up onto the feet. You can try and keep your hands forward, folded on the ground as we stand up. But if not, we're going to crouch down. So hands are going to be flat. Inner edges of the feet are together. And then the knees are going to rest behind the triceps, or they're going to rest on the outside of the triceps. They're on the outside of the triceps, and you gotta squeeze the knees into the triceps to create that nice little lock. If you go on the back of the triceps, it's a little bit easier, I believe, just because then you can press the knees into the elbows and literally just rest your knees on the back of the triceps as we start to shift the weight forward. So we gotta be cognizant of where our hips are. So when you think about this from the side angle, from the side picture, like if you're it's a good opportunity to, videotape yourself, practice, your little tripods. I, first started out putting my phone in my shoe as a tripod, but prop it up on anything, get a side view, and just look at yourself so you can imagine and think about how your hips are going to be stacked right over your elbows, right over your wrists. And that's essentially going to be where your center of gravity is. So when we're standing up, when we're moving around, twisting, spinning, dancing, think about your center of gravity. If you take a bucket of water, spin it around in a circle. Where's its center of gravity? So this will be the main picture from the side, is the hips over the elbows, over the wrists, and then from there you just press into the fingertips and the hands to teeter-totter yourself forward and backwards to find that nice equilibrium. So hands come down, shoulder width apart, and then maybe about 8 to almost a foot, you're depending on who you are, is your feet. So you're going to be up on your tippy toes, zipping the edges of the feet together, and then knees can press to the back of the triceps, or they can press on the outside and squeeze it into the triceps. And then from there, you're just going to start to shift the hips forward until you start to feel maybe one toe lift off the ground, and then both toes. Keep zipping the feet together. Keep your gaze forward in front of your fingertips. Keep breathing. And you just want to keep your gaze forward, that way you don't tuck and roll. And then that's when you start to draw the heels in towards the glutes. Keep pointing the feet. And then eventually you can play around with maybe extending one leg back while you're still pressing your knee into the tricep of the opposite arm. And so try that as many times as you want. So that's coming from pretty much like all fours or standing. You can also come from having your head down onto a block or a bolster. So think about tripod headstand. Your arms are already in a good position where the forearms are perpendicular to the mat. Your triceps are pretty much parallel to the mat. And then from there, your head's in a good spot. So when you are in tripod headstand and you bring your knees to the back of the triceps, that's when you start pressing into your fingertips, and then you start shifting your hips from above your head to above your elbows. And as you shift your hips to above your elbows, then that's when you can lift your head off the ground and find that teeter-totter equilibrium balance. And then once your hips are right over your elbows, over your wrists, then you're in that crow pose, and all you gotta do is keep squeezing the feet together and the heels of your feet up towards your glute to get that good form. And then don't forget to smile for the camera, of course. So that's another good reason to look up, is you want to look up for the camera. Get your video in, get your photo in, get the smiles, the good vibes in. Don't take it so serious. I've fallen on my face, but that's why you practice on the carpet or a soft surface first. Or if you want the challenge, just take your time. That's the biggest thing is, we'll get to the point where we can jump into crow pose during our vinyasa, and that's not a problem. But we want to take our time. We want to make sure that we get the muscle memory, the habitual muscle memory of our body knowing slow, controlled, steady, so that when we do it fast, it's already muscle memory reflex. The body knows symmetry, knows where to apply the right pressure. So have fun with that. Practice, practice, practice. So when we want to start with the block on the ground or bolster, all you got to do is just put the crown of your head, similar to like being in a tripod headstand. Very accessible way to get in there. And then you can also put a block underneath the feet, so your hands could be on the ground completely flat. And if you have I would say like a shoebox, but those aren't very sturdy. So if you just have like a yoga mat, you could probably extra yoga mat, you could roll it up. A block would be preferable as a solid height. So anything that can elevate, you could even use like a stack of books to elevate your feet a couple inches off the ground, just to assist you in getting the feet elevated in general first. So the shoulders are stacked, and then you put your feet onto the books. Let's say a stack of books, like 3 or 4 solid books, hopefully like at least an inch thick, solid reed material, hardback, but soft is cool too. Doesn't have to be that big. You almost have a pocketbook. You just need to put pretty much the balls of your feet on top of the book. Hands are shoulder width apart. Probably start off, just to press your knees into the back of the triceps versus the outside, because outside you gotta use a lot of more groin muscle to hip flex it in. So let's say start with the knees on the back of the triceps for this first time. Hands are down, shoulder width apart, gaze is forward in between the fingers and up, and then the tippy toes essentially are on top of the books, and we're just start to lean forward, and then maybe just lift the left tippy toes, and then lift the right tippy toes, and then connect the feet, and then just keep drawing the heels in towards the glutes, and just take your time, breathe through it, feel through it, and then you'll be able to start doing, crow pose on hand railings, on any type of ledge, a lot of fun things. And then next we'll get into side crows and some of the flying pigeons, but they all go pretty much off the same premise of the Bakasana crow pose. Hips stacked over the elbows, over the wrist, and then just balancing, the feet and the head on the opposite sides, but mainly just finding that nice torso stacked right over the elbows, and almost a little cannonball. So it keeps it real compact, keeps that center of gravity pretty manageable, a lot more manageable, I believe, than, going up into a handstand. So namaste, and then, don't be afraid of the ground. Don't be afraid, of, essentially coming out of the pose, falling out of the pose, if you want to say it like that, because, we're already so close to the ground. That's a good thing. Handstand, your arms are locked, but here your arms are already bent a little bit, so you've got that suspension, natural suspension working for you, and pretty much our face is already like six inches away from the ground, and it's easy to turn left or right. So that's why I practice with pillow, carpet, have fun with it, laugh at yourself, hug yourself, self-love, self-care. Go through that whole exploration of, just meet and greet the muscles that we're going to be using. I was thinking about, we'll get to the point where we're crowd surfing, jumping into the mosh pit. But right now we're just going out there casually, handshaking everybody, seeing what's up, giving our hi, how you doings, and that's about it. So namaste, appreciate you, fam, enjoy the practice. Add a crow pose in anytime you're going from, in your vinyasa forward fold, inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, you can step your feet back to high plank or low plank, or you can go in crow pose, shoot the legs back on the exhale. That's another fun thing too. So when you're crow pose, you can exhale, chaturanga, shoot the legs back. That's always a fun little caveat, skill to embellish on and work on. And then you can go up dog, down dog, and then jump forward into crow pose, boom. Exhale straight back to chaturanga, inhale up dog, exhale to your down dog, hop forward, crow pose, chaturanga, inhale up dog, exhale down dog, inhale top of the mat, exhale forward fold, inhale tadasana, rise all the way up, get a little breather, and then do it again, rinse and repeat. So have fun with the practice, appreciate y'all, namaste. Nash says hello, he's TKO'd, of course. So the audio support, but appreciate y'all.